Hello again. This is John 35, or you can just call me John, doing another G1 Transformers review. As you can see, this is perhaps one of the most iconic of the G1 Transformers, and of course is G1 Megatron. And as you can see, anyone who's familiar with the cartoon, or well, to be quite honest, the Transformer line, will know that G1 Transformer Megatron was Walther P38 pistol. He came with his fusion cannon, a barrel attachment which lengthens the gun itself, a small type of blaster, though I don't ever remember that making an appearance in the cartoon, but it's a little thing they added in, and a added sort of stock lengthening piece, so like a shoulder stock for the pistol. This is obviously his G1 box, and I'll just turn it around so you can see the artwork on the back. This is all an original. This is actually my first ever Transformer. I got this one and Thundercracker on my birthday at the same time. I'll just show you, it's got his instruction leaflet there, and he came with another little leaflet which showed how to assemble him into his larger gun mode, his tech spec decoder, a famous bit of red plastic, and his normal Transformers leaflet showing a couple of battle scenes, the Decepticons and the Autobots, a little bit of a bio sort of thing there about the Transformers themselves and the original G1 Transformer line, with the Autobots there and the Decepticons there that you could get. Now let's see, I think the best thing to do first, I'll show you his gun mode with all the attachments, which is first of all put his fusion cannon, which is later becomes his famous arm cannon, onto the top of the gun like that, and that slides onto the dovetail on top. The other parts of simplicity themselves, you've got barrel extension just slides onto the front of the gun, and the shoulder stock just slides up onto the back of the gun there. Now I'll lift the camera up, forgive the wobble for a minute, so you can see. So get it out of the way, there you go, that's settled down. And as you can see, he is exactly as his G1 cartoon form, and sort of, you know, famously he used to be held by one of the other Decepticons and be fired at the Autobots. Fantastic toy. I believe that the the American and Japanese versions actually did fire pellets, but perhaps they didn't trust us in England enough to let us fire little plastic bullets at each other, but I believe their ones actually did fire, like I say, little plastic, I think they're red or orange little plastic pellets at each other. Would have been nice to have had that feature. I mean, his trigger does obviously move there, but that's all it does. Obviously I expect if it was a modern sort of take on it now, they'd probably have electronics in it so it'd make sounds. I'll do his transformation now on the main body. Now first of all, you can flip his feet forward. Now you can extend his legs down and swing them out, and let me see, best way to do it, swing the back of the gun down, which is his head, and you'll see his face there. Split the top of the gun open, and that forms his arms, and you can extend them down slightly and slide his hands out on little tabs on the inside. I'll do that one as well. Quite straightforward to do. It's not the most complicated transformation. You can swing the front part of the gun around, and that lifts up to expose his abdomen sort of details there inside. Then the barrel of the gun swings round, and with the leg in tight to the trigger housing, that swings down, forward and back up. Oh, closing his chest back up. That's it, like that. And that's basically his lower half done. And then you swing up the arm sections. You've got to get these, let's see, that's it, in the right way. There's like a double sort of joint there, a hinged and a pivot one. Yeah. You line them up and you get this metal rod straight, and it should clip into, I struggle with it a little bit, sorry, into the back of the body, and that there is G1 Megatron in all his glory. Now, I'd have to say he is one of the most iconic Transformers of the G1 line, obviously with Optimus, a little bit out of scale with Optimus Prime. He's a little bit smaller actually than Megatron in these G1 toys, but not a bad take on the cartoon version. He's certainly as close as you was going to get back in the G1 line. I'll transform his accessories now into their mode, which you separate those two pieces. You pull down on that bit so it pulls down lower, and that splits in half and pivots around. That becomes a stand. You take off this part off the back of the barrel extension and slot that in to there, and this has got a connector which swings down. This has two handles that come out of the sides, and then you can attach this part onto the back there, and then that fits onto there and makes him a large cannon that you can obviously fire with the Autobots. The little what do they call it, a photon cannon, that can fit just onto his fist like that. So it's like a handheld weapon. Again, not something that was actually, I remember it in the cartoons, but they obviously included it for a little bit of extra play with. I always thought it looked a little bit like some kind of probe or something like that, but there you go. There is also another mode which I only came across by sort of flicking through the instructions before I started doing this review, that I hadn't even realised that there was another mode for his weapons. You have to forgive the little bit of juggling there. I'm afraid these leg joints do have a tendency to try and close up. And the other mode, what you can do, you close those handles back in, and let's get this right. Now this fits on like that, so you keep that bit in there, but that fits in the bottom, so that's aimed forwards. And then you slide his fusion cannon onto the side of the front of the muzzle of the gun barrel, so it becomes like that. And this can then, if you swing his barrel round to the back, can slide onto there. I've done this correctly. It should just go in, that's it. And then it's like a bazooka, and you can use the fusion cannon, as is the guns, like the gun sight, the telescopic sight. You can actually use that as like a bazooka cannon over his shoulder. I don't remember ever doing that when I was a kid, but it is a mode that they show in the instructions. Bit different. I kind of prefer the original version of it, where you actually just have his cannon on his arm. I think it's more G1 accurate, more for the cartoon. It's a little bit of a shame his barrel doesn't go up his back, because that actually is more in keeping with the cartoon. whereas coming out to the front, that was a little bit odd. Though I do believe in a couple of the cartoons he did actually swing his barrel forward like that and actually fire the Autobots. Maybe they tried to keep it like that, I don't know. His sight, if I can try and get that in the camera for you, does actually have, let's swing that around the right way, does actually have a little sight inside. I don't know if you can actually see that appearing there in the hole. So you could actually sort of pretend to aim him when he was in gun mode. It's another nice little touch they did to him back then. And that's about it really. He is a great figure. I would highly recommend it if you are a serious Transformer fan. If you haven't got a G1 Megatron, that's something you're really lacking, because he is a little bit loose, but he is an absolute icon of the G1 line, and looks fantastic if you display him as I used to when I had a bit more room, with the Seeker Jets and Soundwave up on a shelf. It really does bring back that G1. I suppose the memories for someone my age of when he was in the cartoons. But yeah, it's a really good figure, good sticker applications and great amount of chrome wear on him. And it doesn't seem to suffer too badly if you handle him carefully. It doesn't seem to wear off, and basically, you know, other than sort of like some loose leg joints, which you've seen, which can be a little bit of a pest, other than that, there's no real problems with him. The only thing, obviously, he's not got the greatest amount of, with any G1, the greatest amount of articulation. He's got a reasonable arm movement. You can't bend at the elbow. Not a great deal in the leg department really, but then what did you expect for something that came out in 1983? It's one of the original releases worldwide, I believe, sort of before, obviously it was Diaclone, but I mean, when it became Transformers, he was one of the first ones, hence why he was one of my first ones as well. Yeah, and I can't sort of like really sort of praise it enough. It is a great toy, and I mean, what little boy didn't like playing with toy guns and robots? I hope you've enjoyed the review. If there's any other Transformers from the G1 line you'd like to see reviewed, please drop me a line and I'll dig them out if I've got them, and show you a review on them and give you any sort of advice on them if you're unsure about any weak points on them. And if you're interested, please subscribe. Okay, I'll see you again sometime. Cheers, bye.